Flav City family, what is up? It is Dessi with the camera, Bobby in the kitchen. We just put Rose down for an afternoon nap. We just installed our brand new magnet backboard here, which is very exciting because we had the old one for like 8 years. It was splattered with so much oil, it was embarrassing. And we're ready. We're ready to make a video all about the best shelf-stable coffee creamers, nut butters, and more because it's very timely, right? Not everyone wants to go to the grocery store. The grocery store doesn't have a lot of stuff in stock right now, and it really is the best idea to stay safe, which is why we're not really going to the grocery store that much lately. So if you're a coffee fan and coffee creamer, you actually have a lot of good options for shelf-stable options that don't go bad and don't require refrigeration. And we're gonna go over a bunch right now that are top-notch. Before we get rocking and rolling, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, but the most important thing is a bell icon right below the video. Enable all notifications, then go on your phone, on your Android, your iOS, make sure you have pushes from YouTube enabled because we have so many videos going live every week. But for the quarantine, we're doing live streams pretty much every night at 4 o'clock Chicago time, and you don't want to miss out, and they're a lot of fun. So before we get into like the nuts and bolts of shelf-stable coffee and creamers, let me go over to my coffee and tea shelf here and grab coffee. So we have a whole video actually about coffee, and coffee is all about freshness, right? But you might not be running to your favorite roastery or the grocery store to get fresh beans now because you don't want to go to the store that much. The gist of coffee beans is that if you buy whole bean coffee, which I recommend, and the package is sealed like this, and it has this little vent here that lets out gases, you can probably keep this unopened for 3 months for peak freshness. But once you tear this open, we're talking about 3 weeks of peak freshness. And once you grind coffee beans, we're really only talking about 7 to 10 days of peak freshness. Now, is it good beyond that time? Oh, yeah, of course it is. But beans are all about freshness and really complex flavors. Once the essential oils start to die and dry out, the flavor is going to go flat. And by the way, a Flav City fan owns this company in Toronto. Thank you for sending this over. That was very nice of you. So it is technically shelf stable, but for peak freshness, it's not shelf stable. So typically what I tell people is only grind enough coffee for 1 week, drink it and do it again. But not everyone has a coffee grinder at home, something I want to talk about actually in a minute, and you don't want to be running to the store all the time. So what do we do if that's the case? Well, if that's the case, then we talk about instant coffee. Where are you going? Desi's interested in my coffee grinders. I'm going to talk about. So here's the deal. Desi's interested. This is a coffee grinder also used for spices. I don't recommend using this because there's no way to tell or set this to a specific grind. So you're probably going to over grind it, which means you're going to steep the wrong kind of flavors out of your coffee beans. If you're going to grind it home, which is a great option, then you can get a Burr coffee grinder. You can set the grind for espresso, pour over, stuff like that. I'll put a link down below. They're typically a little more expensive, about $100, but I would not use a traditional coffee grinder like this. So what do you do then? Well, the most obvious shelf-stable coffee would be instant coffee. We think of the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. It actually is still like the most popular coffee by far in the US. But guys, that is just not good coffee if you're a coffee drinker. This is one of the best instant coffees. It's actually organic. It's a German company. The beans obviously aren't German, but it's called Mount Hagen. It's organic. And look at the shelf life on this. It's going to last you till 2022. So how do they make instant coffee? It's actually very, very interesting. They brew fresh coffee, then they dry it with heat and air, and the combination freeze dries it into flavor crystals. This is one of your best straight up instant coffee options on the market. It's very high quality beans, which is not the case for most instant coffees, and it's organic, which we've talked about before. Organic isn't really necessary for the coffee bean, because coffee beans are protected by the cherry, and the chemicals never really get to the coffee bean, but it's devastating to the environment, and oftentimes coffee beans are grown in the rainforest, and that's horrible for the environment. So this is one of the best ones on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. Now, what do I drink? Well, you guys know probably I only drink coffee on the weekends, and I actually can't drink straight up coffee anymore. It actually upsets my stomach, and it makes me sweat and have a weird reaction. So only on the weekends with my keto pancakes and my pasture-raised bacon, I drink this. This is Laird Superfood. Laird Hamilton, the surfer, he came up with a InstaFuel latte. This is the unsweetened one. And look what's so cool about this. I mean, this is one of the best Bobby approved brands on the market. So they're not using cruddy dairy, which a lot of instant mixes do, or instant lattes. They're using coconut milk powder, which is loaded with MCTs. Very high quality freeze-dried Arabica coffee. Arabica is not a location of a bean, it's a type of bean, the most common bean in the world. And then they put calcium from seaweed and organic extra virgin coconut oil. Check this out. There's no added sugar. All 4 MCTs in here. You just add this to just boiled water. And then if you want a coffee creamer to pair with it, this is their dairy-free coffee creamer with functional mushrooms. You guys know I love functional mushrooms because they're really good for brain and immune health. And look at this, once again, it's pretty much the same ingredients without the coffee, dairy-free. You'll never see coffee creamer this clean. Actually, what Dessi and I do on the weekend, we do a cup of this with a tablespoon and a half of the functional mushroom hot chocolate to make a latte. Amazing stuff, amazing company. You've seen me talk about them before. Right now they have free shipping on their website. So click my link in the description box. The free shipping only lasts until the end of the month. It is such premium, high quality product. You'll never see this kind of stuff in the grocery store. So we love drinking this on the weekend. And then if you would talk about other coffee creamers, maybe you just want to keep it really, really basic, right? This is going to be your best friend right here. This is just coconut milk powder that's dried. This will make a really nice shelf-stable creamer that's dairy-free. I don't love the fact that they put the tapioca maltodextrin in there. I can't find a coconut milk powder that doesn't, but at least it's from tapioca instead of GMO corn, which most maltodextrins are. I should also say that the InstaFuel too will last you 12 months. So we talk about shelf-stable, right, instead of fresh beans. These are the kind of things you want to get to make a really good cup of joe at home. And it can be as basic as coconut milk powder. Now, what else do I want to talk about here? Let's go to coffee creamers. So, traditionally, coffee creamers are junk. After this video is done, go to my coffee creamer video where we do the biggest review ever from the grocery store. This is one of the more popular brands, right? You probably find this in the work room at work. Well, no one's going to work right now, but a traditional workplace might have something like that. This is Coffee Mate. Read these ingredients, you guys. It is scary how bad this stuff is. So it's sugar is the second ingredient. And then instead of adding coconut oil or good heart-healthy oils to kind of emulsify it, they're adding soybean oil and canola oil. But look down here too. We have phosphates, we have artificial flavor, we have carrageenan, monoandiglycerides, which is a trans fatty derivative as a preservative. And you're talking about 5 grams of added sugar per tablespoon. Ain't no one using 1 tablespoon of this in a coffee, so you're doing at least 5 to 10 grams of sugar, which is literally over 2 to 2.5 teaspoons of sugar. Almost all the coffee creamers on the market are garbage. Luckily, we have some good ones like the Laird InstaFuel. But if you want a shelf-stable liquid one, I would turn to something like nut pods. Now you'll notice there's nut pods on the shelf at the grocery store, and there's nut pods in the cold case. And there's also milk on the shelf, milk on the in the dairy. What's the difference between the two? It's all about pasteurization, right? The ones that are on the shelf are UHT. They're called ultra high temperature pasteurized, and that makes them shelf stable until, what does this say here? Feb 2021, right? Whereas the one in the case is only going to be good for about 30 to 60 days. Same thing with any non-dairy milk. When it's on the shelf, not in the fridge case, it's UHT as opposed to one in the fridge. It's HTST, high temperature short time pasteurization. The only downside of UHT, ultra high temperature, is that you nuke any possible living nutrients in there. And so I'd say the nutritional profile is a little less, but who cares? It's good to have this as a shelf-stable non-dairy milk and creamer. So here's the creamer for nut pods. And the reason why I like this is that, look at the ingredients. They're using coconut cream. That makes the creamer very, very thick. And then you're always going to see gums like this. I'm okay with gums like this because you have to have it in here because it's mostly water and a little bit of coconut. But too many gums can be a problem. What do I mean by that? If you have a sensitive tummy, never, in my opinion, get barista blends because barista blends need to be thicker and fattier to make them very, very frothy. So they load them up with oils and gums. Look at this. There's gelatin gum. There's locust bean gum. There's sunflower lecithin. There's way more gums and oils in here. And if you're gonna buy something, make sure it doesn't have added sugar. See, this one also has 5 grams of added sugar. So I would be careful of added sugar, and I'd be careful of barista blends. Those can really hurt your tummy. Dessi and I on Saturdays, we used to go for walks and I'd get an oat milk latte at Intelligentsia here on the north side of Chicago. And my stomach would be in a knot afterwards. It would hurt so much. It was because of all those darn emulsifiers in their oat milk, right? So keep that in mind. Now, something really interesting about shelf-stable milk. A very common question I get from parents is, what's the best non-dairy milk to give to my toddlers? And the answer is either pea milk or hemp milk. Hemp milk actually and pea milk have the closest nutritional profile to dairy milk, cow's milk. And this is one of the better ones. This brand right here, what's this called? Tempt. Yeah, Tempt. And the reason I like it is look at the ingredients. There's no natural flavors in here. And once again, it does have the emulsifiers, which is very common, but has a really nice nutritional profile here that's good for the kids. My only issue with a lot of these non-dairy milks is they use very little hemp, very little almonds, and a lot of water and emulsifiers. The best almond milk on the market isn't going to be shelf stable, but it's from the fridge case, like a brand called 3 Trees, Malk, or New Barn. Actually use little to no emulsifiers. That's why they're higher in price. I can't find a pea milk on the market that doesn't have natural flavors, and you guys know how I feel about natural flavors. It's basically another word for artificial flavors. So I would go with the Tempt hemp milk for your kid if that's what you're looking for. If you don't want to give them cow's milk, which Dessi and I don't eat any cow's milk here, and don't plan to give Rose any either. Here's another great nut milk. If you want a shelf stable, well, I shouldn't say shelf stable, but a very long shelf life nut milk that goes in the fridge. This is called Joy, just one ingredient. This is the almond nut base. So basically, I've almost used it all. It's almonds in a paste form. So they just blitz up a bunch of almonds here. And the whole point is just add a little bit of water and blend it up. I'm not the biggest fan of the texture of this, but in a situation where you don't want to go to the grocery store, this is a great concentrated base you can use to make homemade nut milk instead of grinding your own, which is a bit of a process. So this is really cool too. What else? I think of shelf-stable peanut butters and nut butters, and I reach for right here. Now, my main problem with a lot of nut butters on the shelf markets is that they have added sugar to them. There's so many that have added sugar. Look at the ones you have. The one from Walmart has it. The PB Fit has it. I think there is one, I think it's Organic PB, Organic PB Fit has coconut palm sugar, which is a paleo sweetener. Everyone else, PB2, has cane sugar. I prefer not to have any sugar with that, but my boys at Lakanto, you guys know I love their monk fruit sweetener. They have one sweetened with pure monk fruit, not the monk fruit blend that has erythritol. It's just straight up peanut powder and monk fruit, and the pure monk fruit is 300 times sweeter than sugar. So this is actually really, really nice because it's gonna last you until 2021. I've had this for probably 6 months. So it's a great shelf-stable way to get peanut butter, to put peanut butter in your smoothies, or to thicken sauces for kind of like a Thai coconut curry sauce. Really, really good stuff. What else? And then I guess I'll end on tea really quick. So tea, you guys know how I feel. We always drink loose leaf tea because there's maximum flavor and maximum quality in that. And we always get organic. This is a really cool store on the north side of Chicago in Lakeview. Check it out. I get a lot of spices and coffee and tea from there. And then Peak, we used them in a live stream recently. It's basically top quality organic tea, crystallized, just like this, but crystallized, cold brew extracted. It's a little pricey, but it's very, very good for a convenient way to get premium tea without steeping it in case you don't want to do that. So, and then finally, I love this company. Laird makes dried coconut water. This is literally coconut water that's freeze-dried, just like you'd freeze-dry coffee. And then it's this powder form. And I took this on the plane last time I traveled, which was a long time ago, way before this stuff happened. Ugh, look at that. And it smells fantastic. You just hydrate that with water. It's almost as good as the real thing. But to have this at 35,000 feet when you're flying, when it's safe to fly, of course. This is a treat, man. It's so luxurious. Or put some of this in a big thermos, take it down to the beach while you're playing volleyball or something like that. That'd be awesome. So that's it, you guys. There's a lot of really good options for shelf-stable coffee, coffee creamer, nut butters, and more, because we don't always want to go to the grocery store. We don't want to go to the coffee shop because we're limiting our time. We're social distancing. We're flattening the curve. We're doing it right, baby, right? So that's it. Like, subscribe, share. The only way this channel keeps growing is by you spreading the love. We got 2 more videos going below us right now. But Dessi holding the camera, Rose taking a nap, and Daddy. We'll see you very soon. Until then, we leave you like we always do. Hashtag keep on cooking. Mad love and peace. I like that new board a lot. I'm going to put like the name of the recipes for live streams. It's going to be cool.